All right, Assalamu alaikum. What's going on, everyone? Everyone doing great? Alhamdulillah. Again, tough crowd today. Tough crowd. It's going to take a little something, Sheikh, today. May Allah bless you all. Just very happy to see everyone, very excited. I'm sure you guys didn't miss me, but I missed everyone here. May Allah bless you all and bless your families. Just good to be back. Good to see everyone here. I want to thank you all very much for taking time out on this beautiful, of course, Sunday here in Anaheim to be here for our class, our weekly Sunday Islam 101 class, where we try to take a topic and try to have a little series or discussion about that as well. And for those that are live streaming, yes, we are live streaming today. We just took a little break for a few weeks. I did get applied the pressure, for many people did apply the pressure of the live stream, and we were going to do it. We just wanted to make sure that those people that were very close to IIFC would actually not live stream it, but come in person. And I'm very happy to see everyone here. Of course, as a reminder, we do have our lunch there in the back, so feel free to grab some lunch. If you want to get up and grab something, a second round, we have a lot of food there and drinks. Please stay hydrated. AC is going, so hopefully it's working out really well. If you need me to crank it up or crank it down, I can do that as well. Not a problem. Just let me know, inshallah, God willing. We have with us my brother from another mother. The smile's coming. It's coming. It's coming, Sheikh. Come on, Sheikh. It's coming. There you go. That's it. Inshallah. Director of Muslim Life and Educational Chaplain at Chapman University, our dear Sheikh Jibreel Speight. Of course, a blessing that Sheikh Jibreel had that I like to always mention, and for many of our scholars and speakers and mentors here, is that he converted or reverted to Islam many years ago, studied abroad, and now is back and has been supporting our program here. So I personally appreciate that from the bottom of my heart for him to take time out. He actually did the Fajr program here today as well. As you know, on Sundays, we have a Fajr tafsir program, which is explanation of the Quran, certain parts, certain verses. And so Sheikh Jibreel had the session today. And so he's joining us here as well. So I'll let Sheikh Jibreel talk about our topic, inshallah, God willing. And then, of course, at the tail end, we have some very important announcements. As you know, the Eid holiday is coming right around the corner. So I'll give some more information regarding that. So, my dear Sheikh, floor is all yours.
In the name of Allah, the Lord of mercy, the bestower of mercy. Allah. You might want to put a light on or off. Might as well put the other one off too. There you go. That's better. Wow, that's dark, man. That's dark, bruv. Now you're going to see with me, man. I will, man. You will, man. Man. We have to go outside and have a little conversation. You might win the conversation. I'm just saying, though. It's all good. We'll yeah. Boom. That's too bright, brother. There you go. There you go. Yeah, that's fine. That's fine. Praise and thanks belong only to Allah, and may peace and blessings be sent upon the one who's been sent as a mercy to all of creation, our master and our leader, Muhammad, upon his family, his companions, and those that follow them excellently until the day of judgment. And today, we are in the fourth day of the 12th month of the Islamic calendar. The name of the Islamic calendar is called Dhul Hijjah. And while I won't specifically talk about that, I do think that it is incorporated or embedded in a larger conversation. Now, some of you, I would say this, I think that if you have a pen and a piece of paper, you might want to write this stuff down. Today, we're going to cover 5 verses in the Quran. Today, we're going to cover 5 verses in the Holy Quran. And it will be a part of this title, which is a new Muslim in the first 10, and look into the first 10 days of Dhul Hijjah. The title is incorporated within the verses that we'll be covering. So we got 2 important questions that I hope to have answered. First is, where does Allah talk about the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah? Where does he talk about it? And second of all, what are the signs he wants humanity to acquire from his words discussing the 10 days of Dhul Hijjah? Before we discuss that, it's important to understand that our Lord created and he chose, as he mentioned in the Holy Quran. And your Lord has created and he has chosen. Now, he's created what he's created and he's chosen what he has chosen. They have no say-so in the matter. In other words, humanity has no say-so as to what he creates, how he creates, why he creates, when he creates, etc. Slowly, I say it again. Your Lord has created and has chosen. They have no say-so in the matter. So understood from that is that nobody, no piece of creation, human, jinn, or even creation that is greater than us, such as the cosmos or the earth, no piece of creation has a say-so as to why it's been created, how it's been created, when it's been created, where it was created, etc. All right. If you understand that, then let's dive into what I want to talk about. We have the following verses in the Holy Quran. You can find this in the 89th surah, or roughly translated as chapter, ayat, or verses 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5. By the dawn, by the 10 nights, by the even and odd, by the night when it journeys on, is there in that an oath for a mindful man or a mindful person? So it looks like we've already answered question number one. Question number one was, where does it say Allah talks about the first 10 or the 10? Seems to be in this particular surah. Well, let's see. Maybe not. We'll see, inshallah. All right. I want to talk now and dive a little bit more into each verse. First of all, verse number 1, by the dawn. Right away, you're probably thinking, okay, you're talking about the dawn, the thing, the time. The scholars of Islam differ as to what is meant by here. The scholars of Islam differ as to what this means. Yes, the first position is the dawn that everybody knows of as far as the period of time in the day. And the benefit behind Allah swearing, making an oath by this part of the day is, the wisdom behind it is to discuss that this is the time period where most pieces of creation, human beings and otherwise, this is the time period where people begin their daily operation. This is the time period where people begin their daily operation. It is also the time period where people begin the process of leaving their homes and scattering throughout the land, seeking provisions from the Almighty. From a deeper standpoint, it is a reminder of the resurrection. That is to say that when we wake up for dawn prayer, and if you're not getting up for dawn prayer, public service announcement, get up and pray dawn prayer. Dawn prayer, and dawn particularly, when we see the breaking of the night, and now we're seeing the coming of the daylight. And then people get up, most people, not talking about those who may work at night, that's a rarity. We're talking about those that ordinarily work throughout the day. The idea, based upon this part of the day, Allah Ta'ala also, with this part of creation, is reminding all of us that the way that we get up from our from our mini death, which is sleep, and then we are revived when our souls return to us, and then we do our movements. The resurrection is similar but more intense. The resurrection is similar but more intense. The Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, when he would get up after praying, after sleeping, he would say, praise and thanks belong to Allah, who has restored my soul after taking it. Praise and thanks belong to Allah, who has restored my soul after taking it, and resurrection is in his hands. That's the last part. Or you can also translate it, and to him we will return. So he used to say, Allah bless him and grant him peace, when he would get up to pray, he would make this prayer, excuse me, as a reminder to himself, and of course teaching his followers, that getting up from sleep should be a reminder about resurrection. By the way, being that this is the period of Hajj, that's exactly one of the reasons why, deeper reasons of performing the pilgrimage to the sacred house, is a reminder of the idea of gathering and being resurrected. So that's one meaning of what does Allah mean by swearing by the dawn. Another meaning is Allah is swearing by the prayer, the dawn prayer. All right? That's another interpretation that's valid. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala begins by, based upon his interpretation, the wisdom behind that, the wisdom behind that is that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala sends angels during the time of dawn. The other time is during the time of Asr, or the late afternoon. It's this time period where the angels gather and they have an assembly and they have a conversation as to who has gotten up to pray the dawn prayer and who has not gotten up to pray the dawn prayer. And being that Allah already knows, they report this to the Almighty. They ascend to the heavens, and then they inform Allah, although He already knows. And prior to the ascension, they record the names of the people who have prayed dawn prayer when He came in, with the hope that a person will get the reward. The third interpretation of Allah swearing by the dawn is that it is referring to a specific day. It's referring to the dawn in a specific day. So we have three interpretations then. And the first interpretation is the actual time period of dawn. For example, dawn is 4:30 in the morning. So Allah is swearing by that time period. Or another interpretation, which is valid, the actual prayer prayed during the dawn time period. And thirdly, the dawn within a specific day. Underneath that third interpretation, there are sub-meanings. Some have said it refers to Eid. It refers to the dawn of Eid al-Adha. The Eid that will be happening when? What day? Saturday, yes. So that dawn of the Eid is Allah swearing by that time period, which goes to show the value and importance of that glorious day. See, Allah didn't swear by Christmas. He didn't swear by Thanksgiving. He didn't swear by any of that. He swore by this day. So we are reminded then about coming to Eid prayer and getting ready to do the Eid. So that's one subset. By the way, you should know that before the coming of Islam, before the coming of the message of Islam, the Arab in Mecca, the Arab, they used to do pilgrimage to the sacred house. That was not something new. They would come to the sacred house, before, even in the midst of their idolatry and what have you. And they used to look forward to the dawn of Eid, of that particular day. They didn't call it Eid then, but they look forward to that particular day. For what purpose? Because on the Eid day, and all of you, Allah willing, would make pilgrimage one day. Well, and by the way, if you're able to fast on Friday, which is Arafat, you should ask Allah to make a way for you to make the pilgrimage. Anyway, so when you go on the 10th day, that's when the Eid is. The 10th of Dhul Hijjah, not the 10th of July or August or whatever. You do something. You do several things. One of them is sacrifice, a slaughtering. All right? A slaughtering. And prior to Islam, the Arab used to slaughter an animal for their idols. But Islam came and said, nah, you slaughter for God alone. That's what you slaughter for. So Allah then, based upon this, is swearing by the dawn of Eid. And in it, all of the actions connected to Eid. For us, we're not performing Hajj or pilgrimage. You'll be, smelling good, wearing nice clothing, coming to the place of prayer, and hopefully, if you are able to, slaughter as well. So, fantastic. All right. What else we got here? All right. We're done there. We move on. Then Allah says after, let me see, anything else I want to say about that? Oh, I'm sorry. The second, underneath the specific day where Allah swears by dawn. Second position underneath that is that some have said that Allah swears by the dawn of the first day of Dhul Hijjah. That Allah swears by the first day of Dhul Hijjah, which was a few days ago this year. Why? Because that is the beginning of performing the pilgrimage. Most people arrive in Mecca around the first or second, traditionally, to perform the pilgrimage. Another position with this specific day is that Allah is swearing by the Fajr of the first month of the Islamic calendar. What's the first month of the Islamic calendar? I taught time before. Anybody can tell me? Yes. Muharram. Very good. Allah is swearing by the dawn of the first day of the first month of the Islamic calendar as a reminder that it is a new year and everything that Allah decreed the previous year, Laylatul Qadr, will take place now. All right? So we have 1, 2, 3 general positions about what does Allah mean by swearing by the dawn, and underneath the third position, there are 3 interpretations underneath that, for a total of 6 positions. Beautiful. All right. Then Allah goes on and says, and by the 10 nights, and by the 10 nights, and by the 10 nights. First of all, most translators say the 10 nights. That is an inaccurate translation. And by 10 nights, any 10 nights. And it should be it should be any 10 nights, and by 10 nights. That's first thing. Let me give you something to think about as you are journeying further into learning more about the Quran. You have what they call indefinite nouns. You ever heard of an indefinite noun? Now, I know those people who majored in English, they probably know this already. You know indefinite noun, right? An indefinite noun. Or an. A apple, a pen. Huh? Yes. Well, in Arabic, there's a thing called an indefinite noun. In Quranic Arabic, an indefinite noun has various meanings, including greatness. Including greatness. So Allah is swearing by 10 nights. These 10 nights are articulated as an indefinite noun. I'm working with you with this. Why? To indicate the greatness of these nights, whatever they might be. All right? So keep that in mind. That being said, so what are these 10 nights? What are these 10 nights? The one that you probably heard of are the 10 nights of Dhul Hijjah. Huh? That's the probably one that you heard, right? Yes. All right. That's what many people say. Right? That's the 10 nights of Dhul Hijjah, which is a valid position. Others have said that it refers to the first 10 of Muharram, the first month of the Islamic calendar. Others have said it refers to the last 10 nights of Ramadan. All right. And these are all valid positions. Once again, the first 10 of Dhul Hijjah this month, the first 10 of the first month of the Islamic calendar, and thirdly, the last 10 of Ramadan. As far as the first position, which is the first 10 of Dhul Hijjah, is as if Allah is encouraging the people to pay close attention to these first 10 due to the hadith or prophetic tradition about performing any righteous deed, any good deed, not necessarily fasting, but any righteous deed, any good deed, such as what? Giving charity, speaking the truth, commanding the good and forbidding the evil, teaching a class, praying more additional prayers, reading the Quran, listening to the Quran, abstaining from sin, not letting people see your faults, etc. All these things are good deeds. Making supplication, that's fasting, of course. And the 9th, which is this coming Friday, everybody should be fasting if you're able to. The Prophet, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, mentioned. Now, with regards to fasting the day of Arafat, he said that is the day we're in. He believes that the sins of the next year and the previous year will be eradicated, wiped out, blotted out, etc. During that particular day, as a historical thing, the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, did his final Hajj on a Friday. Did his final Hajj, his final pilgrimage on a Friday. So isn't it interesting how Allah has blessed us to be able to not only reap the benefits of Jumu'ah, but also the benefits of Yom Arafat, the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. Two good things all at once. As you all know, on Jumu'ah, it is highly encouraged to make dua or make supplication. I would encourage you to really put a little extra effort in your supplication. The day of Arafat, the best thing to say is what the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him and grant him peace, had taught his followers. He said, the best supplication is what I and the prophets, plural, all of them, and what every prophet said before me, which is, there is no deity but God. He is alone. He has no partners. He possesses the creation. Praise belongs to him, and he is capable of all things. That is what you say, La ilaha illallah, wahdahu la sharika lah, lahul mulku wa lahul hamdu wa ala kulli shay'in qadir. All right? That's what you should be saying. So what you do, you raise your hands like this, and you say that, and then ask Allah what you want. On the day of Arafat, when the people are performing pilgrimage, we ask Allah to accept those people's pilgrimage and accept their prayers and let them return without any sin whatsoever and home safely, is that Allah descends in a manner befitting him, and he asks his angels, what do my servants want? Or before that, he brags to the angels. He says, look at them. Look at my servants, dirty, hair disheveled. They're not in the best condition as far as how they look. What do they want from me? Angels say, well, they want forgiveness and mercy. And he says, I forgive all of them and have mercy upon all of them. Allahu Akbar. So the Prophet Muhammad, may Allah bless him, grant him peace, mentioned that on that day for those who perform pilgrimage, if you watch yourself and watch your character, etc., and your conduct, you have a golden opportunity to return to your land as if you came out of your mother's womb, meaning that you ain't got no sin. Zero. MashaAllah. I mean, I can't do that. I ain't done the pilgrimage. What can I do? You can make supplication and you can fast as a means of sort of being with the pilgrimage as well, with the pilgrims as well. Okay. As far as the second position, which is the first 10 of the next month, Muharram, within it, it is an indication that we have the day of Ashura, the 10th day of Muharram. And on that particular day, if you fast that day, the sins of the previous year get wiped out. So this month and next month, we have an opportunity to get sins removed. 2 days, that's it. Man, Islam is dope. MashaAllah. All right. And of course, the last 10 of Ramadan, we all probably heard of this many, many times about the beauty of those nights from the standpoint of asking Allah for what we want, hopefully seeking Laylat al-Qadr, which is better than approximately 84 years and some change. Then we move on to the next verse, which is by the even and the odd. That's even and the odd. What's that? Oh, that's why I told you, get your notebooks out if you really want to learn something. All right. The even and the odd, there are about 20 positions, 20 interpretations, and they're all valid. Bismillah. I'm going to read them to you. You might want to write them down if you wish. The first one is that the even and the odd. The even refers to the day of Eid, which is the 10th day of Dhul Hijjah. And the odd is referring to the 9th, which is Yom Arafah. 9 is an odd number, 10 is an even number. All right. The second position is, I'll say it again. Got you. So Allah swears by the even and the odd. The even is referring to Eid day. That's the 10th. 10 is an even number, right? And then we have the odd is referring to Yom Arafah, Arafat day, all right, which is this coming Friday. 9 is an odd number, all right? So Allah swears by the even and odd. In other words, Eid and Yom Arafah. Second position is that Allah is swearing by Eid day and the next 3 days after it. Eid day and the next 3 days after it. Based upon what? Based upon in the Quran, in Surah, in the second Surah, the cow, the verses that go in depth about performing Hajj. Allah mentions there, whomever whomever hastens to complete their pilgrimage rites, there is no sin upon that person. And whoever chooses to extend it an additional day, there's no sin upon that person for those that are conscious of God. So the scholars say then that the even here refers to the 12th day, and the odd refers to the 13th day. You see, after Eid day, which is the 10th, you have 3 additional days. They're called in Arabic ayyam al-tashriq, or they are called the illuminated days. The illuminated days, which is the 11th, the 12th, and the 13th. That's the day, those are the days of eating and drinking and mentioning and remembering Allah, as the prophetic tradition says. Third position, some say that Allah is swearing by Adam and his wife, giving you 2. That's the even. And the odd is Allah, because he's one. All right. Fourth position, the even refers to all the prayers, the mandatory prayers. The mandatory prayers we're in, it is an even number of units of prayer. Those prayers that are even numbered as far as units of prayer, that would be dawn prayer, that'll be the 2 afternoon prayers, and the night prayer. And the odd is referring to Maghrib, or the sunset, or evening prayer. So we got, subhanAllah, we got some people saying Allah swearing by certain days. Allah swears by himself. He swears by our father and our mother. And Allah swears by prayer. Interesting. All right, another position is that Allah, the even is referring to all of creation, because Allah created creation in pairs. And the odd is referring to Allah himself. Another position. Oh, and for reference, if you want to know where you got that from, check out the 51st chapter, verse number 49. Also the 78th chapter, verse number 8. Another position, the even refers to the levels of the eternal garden, Jannah, because there are 8 levels. And the odd refers to the 7 levels of hell, of the flaming abyss. Others say that it means the 8 gates or entries of the eternal garden, and the 7 refers to the 7 entry points of the blazing abyss, Jahannam, or hell. May Allah protect us. Others say that this should be taken literally, that Allah swears by the numbers, all the even numbers and all the odd numbers. Why? It teaches how to calculate. And teaches how to calculate. Calculate what? You calculate different things, such as when the month ends and begins, and other things that require calculation. Others say that the even refers to every day and night, or rather, I should say, yes, every day and night, because they're in pairs. Like 24 hours in a day, you have a day and a night. That's a pair. But the odd refers to the day where there is no night, which is Yom Qiyamah, which is the day of resurrection. Once again, some have said it refers to days and night together, and the odd refers to the day of judgment. Wow. Others say, mashallah, I love this one too. These are all beautiful. Others say that they even refers to every prophet that has two names, like the Messiah, Jesus, or Muhammad is also called Ahmed. And the odd refers to every prophet that only is known to have one name, like Prophet Noah. Others say that Allah is swearing by the 12 springs that were gushed out after Musa, peace be upon him, was commanded to strike the rock. And these 12 springs came out for the 12 tribes of the children of Israel. And the odd refers to the 9 signs Allah gave Musa as a challenge to Pharaoh and the people around him. Last one I'm going to give you for the even and the odd is that the even refers to the 2 prostrations that we make in a unit of prayer. And the odd refers to the ruku', or the bending down. So you can see then, there's a lot of different things that Allah swears by that He values to be very, very important. All right, we're in number 4. Number 4 is by the night when it journeys on. By the night when it journeys on, there are the following positions. Yes. Some say that what Allah is referring to here about the night when it journeys on is He's referring to Laylat al-Qadr. Laylat al-Qadr, referring to that beautiful night. Others say that Allah is referring to the night after Yom Arafah. You see, the pilgrims, after going to this open plain area called Arafah, that's what it's called, Arafah. After the sun sets, they move on to another area called Muzdalifah. M-U-Z, D as in David, A-L-I-F-A-H. M as in Mary, U-Z, D as in David, A-L-I-F-A-H, Muzdalifah. That's called the night of gathering. It's called the night of gathering. They gather during the day, for Arafah, and they gather again when they go to this other area before they head back to back to the sacred house to perform the rest of their pilgrimage actions. Others say it refers to all nights. Others say it refers to all nights. And the wisdom behind that particular position is that the night is a blessing from Allah. Had Allah not allow night to be created, everybody would be in a state wherein they're constantly inactivity until they wore themselves out. The night is meant for relaxation and recharging. They also go on to say that the night in and by itself is an opportunity for people to reflect upon the actions of the day and and also appreciate the value of the evening. To be blunt with you, I miss having longer nights. One of the things I don't like about summer is that the nights are too short. It feels like it'd be 8 o'clock at night or 7:30 in the evening, and there's still sunshine outside. And it feels like it's, when we going like stop. Everybody go in their house and stop making whatever they do. All right. And lastly, the fifth and final thing is there in that an oath for a mindful man? Another translation is this oath strong enough for a rational person? Is this oath strong enough for a rational person? That's another common translation. The point here is that Allah is asking a question, but really it's not a question. It's more of a thing of, you see all these different signs that I just told you about that I swore by? You got any questions about me existing? That's the point. All these different signs that I have pointed out to you and the symbolisms behind them and the benefits behind them. Is there anywhere in your mind, in your heart and soul, wherein you still don't think there's a creator? All right. Now, I have a question for you. Questions for the day. I always got a question of the day. What are your takeaways? I'm going to drink my coffee. What say you new Muslims? What say you? Nothing? Nothing? You ain't got nothing to say? Man, y'all corny. You ain't got nothing to say. Huh? Huh? Uh-huh.
And then the prophet's name.
Yeah.
2 names.
You tapered off at the end. What you say?
Oh, my takeaway is the odd and the even. So when you say about the prophet names,
Yeah.
some prophet has 2 names.
Yes.
The first even, and then the odd refers to one.
Yeah.
The prophet that has 1 name.
Cool. Nice. Huh? Anybody else? Nobody. Oh man. Nobody. Man. Dang. As a teacher. Hey, who in the back? Yes. I think I'm sit down.
I was thinking about the last verse that you mentioned because I noticed that Allah mentions the importance of the night in many different ayahs. And now they find out that if we sleep from 10 to 12, it's like the most productive sleeping time. And Allah already told us that the night is for us to sleep, to rest. And I think that's pretty amazing. So that's my takeaway from this.
Very good. Thank you. Thank you. Right here, Jamal, sister right here. Sheepishly raising her hand. Yes, right here. This one's sister right here. Right here.
Assalamu
Alaikum assalam.
When you said there was gonna be 20 interpretations, I was like, I'm not ready to hear all of that. But when you started listing them out, like the more further down you went, like the more I was like smiling, like because this is crazy, like just these small things we don't like
Pay
think
attention
about.
to.
And like the one that like caught my attention the most when you said the like literally every day and night, the even, and then like what was scarier when you said like the day of judgment, there's not gonna be,
There is no night.
yeah.
It's just day. Yeah.
That's all.
Alaikum salam.
Alaikum salam.
I was thinking about the by the night when it journeys on, and all nights is a blessing from Allah. And I'm thinking about the prayer between the Isha and Fajr, and how you feel like you form special closeness to Allah, and I think is truly a blessing.
Nice. MashaAllah. Very nice.
For me, two things. The first thing was, as you were again listing all the even and odd, how Allah is swearing on these things, and so it puts like a really heavy emphasis on the fact of like how important these things are, and how unfortunately sometimes like we neglect a lot of these things. And so it's kind of like a reminder of like, hey, like this is really important to our faith. And then the other thing is the very last verse, and how you were saying that how can we have doubt about a creator when all the signs are there? And these kinds of verses in the Quran are actually some of my favorite verses. When Allah is pointing out these signs and then questioning us, how can you not reflect? How can you not think of a creator when I've given you all of these signs? And I think these verses are like my favorite because it's not just this verse, they're scattered all across the Quran. And every time I come upon one of these verses, it's just, it really like, it's one of the most impactful verses for me when I read the Quran. And it's one of my favorites because I really do take that to heart. Like, yes, like I believe because yes, I see all of these things that you're showing me. So yeah, those are my reflections.
MashaAllah. MashaAllah.
All right, brothers, you want to put us on the board? I give one brother maybe. I don't know if you guys went already. Inshallah. Reflections? Sister, yeah. Sister Maimuna.
Assalamualaikum.
Alaikum salam.
I'm not a revert, but my takeaway was like always reciting Surah Al-Fajr. I always thought that the 10 nights were about the last 10 nights of Ramadan. But when you mentioned that there are 20 different opinions, and then I just thought, how little I know, and like the importance of knowledge, and kind of inspired me to like start, reading tafsir, the interpretation of the Quran.
MashaAllah. Beautiful.
Anybody else? Anybody want to share some reflections? Yeah, Brother Donald.
Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam.
My reflection was the numbers and calculating the numbers, how, Allah give us the numbers to calculate, and the levels as far as the garden and the levels of hell. And I just was like, as far as Allah, He always give you one up.
Got you. MashaAllah. That's nice. I like that. Oh, man. MashaAllah.
All right. Anybody else? Sheikh, we have some questions. This is, of course, we're on the reflections right now.
Of course.
When you're ready, is
I'm
it okay?
fine. That's
Okay.
fine. Yeah.
We have a few here. I just want to, of course, just welcome everybody that's online as well. Welcome, Sister Sarai, Sister Elisa, Sister Shaykh. Welcome to everyone that I don't know as well. The question here, Sheikh, is what about nocturnal people who work nights and sleep better during the day? Is that a bad thing?
No, it's not a bad thing. It's just life. If you have to work at nighttime, you have to work at nighttime. The most important thing is that you try your best to take care of yourself and that you live a halal life, or a life that is permissible. And I mentioned something today after dawn prayer. We talked about we're covering the 70th 70th surah or chapter in the Quran, which is the ascending pathways, and we got to, when we discussed the some descriptions of Jahannam, the blazing abyss, and we talked about how the fire calls out people's name. The fire calls out every single person who rejected faith and every single hypocrite. All right? Oh, so and so. Oh, so and so. Until it grabs that person, similar to how a bird sees a seed in the land, swoops down and snatches it. And what happens is that people become so engrossed. So the fire calls people that initially turns away from the message, as some of our family members don't want to hear anything about Islam, and may Allah guide them. And also the hellfire calls people that heard the message of Islam, may have been born and raised a Muslim, may have converted to Islam, but then leave Islam. All right? So, and what happens is both of them have the exact same problem, is that they be chasing after this worldly life too much. So I made a comment about, and this goes back to this question. I made a comment that what we ought to be doing is we need to be asking Allah to put blessings in our jobs and the money He gives us. You understand? So if you have to work at night, so be it. But here's my suggestion to you. That's not a bad thing. Just ask Allah to put blessings in your job and the money that He gives you and the wealth that He gives you, and be content with that. That's what I would suggest you do, whether you work at day or night. Allah knows best.
All right, I think we're good. Sheikh Jibreel.
His brothers and sisters look like they just been hit with, like, man, I need to really, I need to let that sink in, man.
Sheikh Jibreel Speight, Director of Muslim Life and Educational Chaplain at Chapman University. As always, a blessing on behalf of IOC's outreach program and the new Muslim group and family. Thank you so much, Ya Sheikh, for joining us here today, helping us and walking with us step by step, teaching us. We appreciate your mentorship. And may Allah bless you all. I appreciate everyone taking time out on this beautiful Sunday to be here today. Inshallah. A few announcements, so please be patient with me. I just want to make sure I can get to all these announcements, inshallah. First thing is, I'm very happy to be back. Alhamdulillah, may Allah bless you all. I just wanted to personally thank Sister Catherine, Ms. Lavariega. I don't mean to put you on the burner, but may Allah bless you. Thank you for stepping up and taking the lead for the class. And I can't express how what a blessing it is for me to not having, I didn't want to stop the classes, right? This is something consistently year round, week in, week out, for the most part, we want to keep going. So when people step up and say, you know what, I'll be more than happy to help, it's a huge blessing. So I want to thank Sister Catherine very much for taking the lead on that. I want to thank all the other volunteers that we have. We have a number of volunteers, Sister Zara, Sister Rula, Brother Samer, Sister Romana, Sister Yuki. I know I'm missing so many other volunteers, Sister Maimuna, Sister Sumaya, so many volunteers, so many brothers and sisters that are helping. If I haven't mentioned your name, I'm very bad at that, so please forgive me. Please know that you are in my prayers and my du'as. I really appreciate it. And again, I hope everyone would do their best to, when opportunity does arise, to say, I want to give some time for the sake of Allah and help out in the masjid in some capacity, inshallah. So I really appreciate it. Thank you all very much. All right, so of course, don't forget, of course, lunch is there in the back. Please don't waste any food. If you can't finish your food, we have it, of course, in these containers. You can take it to go. If you want to take a second round, you're most welcome. We have food left. We also, of course, recycle. So the green little recycling bin is there in the back. So please do make sure you recycle. The Eid Day announcements. All right, so let's get started. Ready? Here it comes. Ready? Are you ready? All right, I think everyone's ready. All right, you guys look tired. Look really tired. It's all right. It's that hurricane check you're talking about, man. We got hit with, mashallah. All right, so inshallah, the day of Arafah, which is what Shaykh Jibreel was talking about, that's going to be the 9th, right? The 9th of Dhul Hijjah. So please do your best to fast that day if you're in a position to fast, right? That's going to be on Friday, July 8th. So we are still going to have coffee with the Shaykh. Go ahead, Shaykh, you want to mention?
Yeah, for those of you who are not able to fast, because this happens all the time, I can't fast, specifically more so for the women. What about me? If I'm on my period, what can I do? Well, what you can do is find somebody who's fasting and give them a date. Yeah, feed them. Or if there's a way of perhaps contributing to this masjid, if the mosque they're doing anything as far as feeding, then contribute in that way. So you can do that as well. So those are potential opportunities that you have. And if you can't find anybody whatsoever, that doesn't stop you from simply making supplication, because the mercy of Allah is vast.
As it relates to the food part, biryani. You guys doing biryani? We're in the house. All right. Perfect. Thank you, Sheikh. I appreciate you adding that very important part. So again, so next Friday is the 9th of day of Arafah, the 9th of Dhul Hijjah. So please try to fast if you're able to fast. We are still going to have coffee with the Sheikh next session on Friday. We are trying to work out where we can, at least for our class, have the iftar, the fast breaking meal together, kind of like what we did in Ramadan, if you guys remember. But because we're just kind of in the infancy of that in terms of planning, inshallah, I hope that will work out. Just be patient with us, and we'll get the registration forms out should we do that, inshallah. But I would encourage you all, please join us, and of course bring your appetites, and then we'll have a nice meal together, inshallah. That's Friday, so this coming Friday. Then of course Saturday is going to be the Eid holiday, right? July 9th, the holiday. We're going to be here at IOC just like we did for the first Eid, the Eid al-Fitr. So we have two prayers. The first one is at 7 a.m. The second one is at 8:30 a.m. First one at 7, second one 8:30. Of course, 30 minutes before we do the takbirat, praising, glorifying God. So 6:30 is the takbirat, the praising, glorifying Almighty God. 7 o'clock sharp, the prayer starts. Then 8 o'clock is the takbirat, the praising of Almighty God. And then 8:30 will be the prayer. So you have two shifts, just like the Friday sermon. So you can either go to the first one or the second one, whichever one works best for you. But then right after the second one, inshallah, God willing, here at IOC, we're going to have a little event at the mosque. So we're going to have coffee, some sweets, jumpers, and activities for the kids as well. So typically we do our event, like if you guys remember our new Muslim kind of like breakfast. But since the masjid is doing it, we're going to all join together and have one big event here, hopefully, inshallah, God willing. So, and some of the volunteers are here in the house, so I won't put them on the spot, but no pressure. But we're looking forward to that, inshallah, God willing. So please make sure you come for the prayer and bring your families, enjoy, have a good time with us, and we'll hang out here. So again, after the second prayer is when we're going to have the event here at the mosque, inshallah. And then if you check our socials, IG, Facebook, all that good stuff, the information should be on there. The newsletter with the details went out as well. So if you're signed up for the newsletter for IOC, it should already have been gone out, alhamdulillah. Then again, just echoing what Shaykh Jibreel said, we are in the 10 days where it's ticking, it's going really fast. So please take advantage of these 10 days, right? Do the mandatory, stay away from the bad things as usual, of course, but then try to increase that which you can do, right? There are some people that literally passed away yesterday. There's some people that passed away right before the month started globally, right? That's the reality. The fact is that we're blessed that Allah's given us life, and we need to do our best with the little time that we have left, whatever that time is, to do our best. So these are the days that are very blessed. So do your best, brothers and sisters, inshallah. Okay, and then I just wanted to highlight some new faces as we like to do every week, alhamdulillah. First here, and this is all on the brother side. I think all the sisters for the most part we know, but Muhammad, I was honored to meet Muhammad right after the Dhuhr prayer, our prayer, and he was on his way out, but we had to take him hostage and said, no, you must have us and join with us. So you just raise your hand for us, Muhammad. Muhammad is joining us here for the first time here at the masjid. So welcome, Muhammad. Also, my brother Chris. Chris is, you can raise your hand there, Chris. Chris actually is looking into Islam. No pressure, Chris. Allah bless you. No pressure at all. But he's looking into Islam. He's joining us here for the first time. So welcome, Chris. And in just having a little conversation with him, so he likes spicy food. So of course I said, what type of spicy food? And he mentioned biryani. Yeah, I know. He actually mentioned this, so this is gonna be a good fit, I think. So you gotta have at least one, minimum 2 biryani jokes a session. As old as it gets, you gotta keep going with it, right? Good to be back, though. I love this, you guys. And the last and certainly not least, you guys probably noticed earlier. There's a gentleman sitting right next to me. His name is Christian. He literally walked in, ya Shaykh, right before the session started. It was myself, Muhammad. I think Muhammad was a few people were there, and he said, "I would like to become a Muslim. I'd like to revert to Islam." He came in and he was looking into Islam. He said for a long time. He had to rush out. He had to go. So myself and I didn't want to disturb the class, and he preferred to do it in private. So myself and David, we went outside, and after explaining the basis of Islam to him, alhamdulillah, all thanks and praise to Allah. He moved, he took his shahada, his testimony of faith, alhamdulillah, in these blessed days. So wanted to welcome Christian to the family. May Allah bless him and guide him and us at all times, and forgive us of our shortcomings. So it's a blessing to have our family members joining us, especially in these blessed days. And that's not the first time, actually. Actually, that reminds me of. May I put you on the spot? You don't remember? Our brother, same thing. When he first came to the masjid, he's like, "I want to convert to Islam as well." You remember? Of course. No, you don't. You don't remember? When he first came to the masjid, right? Same thing when he would come, right? And this is something that's a blessing when someone actually comes to the masjid, the mosque, and just like, "Look, I want to become a Muslim." And they've done their research, and maybe this is the 4th or 5th mosque that they've called, and we get that. I've called that place, and we picked up, and you guys are the only place that picked up. So it's just it just shows the importance of having a family like this and making sure that we support one another. So may Allah bless you all. Thank you all very much. If you guys can all help me out, we'll put the tables and chairs away in the racks. Please don't forget to recycle. The food is there in the back. I want to thank the kitchen team. May Allah bless you all. And Shaykh Jibreel, as always, thank you very much. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless you and bless you all. Please keep us all in your du'as, your supplications. Remember Jamal Zaheen in your supplication. May Allah bless you all.